بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. How are you, my students? I hope that you're happy and healthy and ready for today's lesson, which is the final lesson in Unit 2, the self-reflection. But before we indulge in our lesson, let's open our workbooks, page 95, and start answering some of the exercises in this page 95. Exercise N. Complete the sentences with the words in parenthesis. Use simple present or present progressive. So we'll be completing the sentences using either the simple present or the present progressive. Number one here, trees grow more quickly in cooler climates than in the desert. Trees grow more quickly in cooler climates than in the desert. So if you remember, when do we use the present simple, when do you use the present progressive, you can get back to the grammar lesson and revise the lesson, then come back to answer this exercise. So what's the answer for number one? Do we say trees grow, or do we say trees growing are growing? Let's check the answer here. So we use the present simple because you're talking about a fact here. Trees grow more quickly in cooler climates than in the desert, because here we are talking about a fact. Number two, scientists say that the words climate change rapidly. Scientists say that the words climate change rapidly. So do we use the present simple or the progressive here? Let's check the answer together. Is changing rapidly, so we use the progressive here. Number three, planet Earth go round the sun. Planet Earth go round the sun. So what's the answer here? Yes, goes, present simple, we add the es to go. Planet Earth goes round the sun, because of course this is a fact. Number four, farmers work long hours in all parts of the world these days. Farmers and the verb work long hours in all parts of the world these days. So do we say farmers work, or do we say the progressive? Do we say farmers are working? Let's check the correct answer here. We say farmers work long hours in all parts of the world these days. Number five, governments consider measures to limit overfishing. Governments and the verb consider measures to limit overfishing. So the correct answer is yes, governments are considering at the moment now measures to limit overfishing. Number six, how he know which type of fuel is the greenest? How, this is a question, how he know, this is the verb and the pronoun he, which type of fuel is the greenest? So that's correct. How does he know? How does he know which type of fuel is the greenest? Number seven, the polar ice caps melt at a dramatic rate. The polar ice caps melt at a dramatic rate, and the verb melt here. So is it a fact? Is it something temporary? Is it something that's happening now? So according to your understanding, you will know the answer. Let's check the answer here together. The polar ice caps are melting at a dramatic rate at these days. The UAE not have a high level of rainfall. The UAE not have a high level of rainfall. Very good. The UAE doesn't have a high level of rainfall, because that's a fact here. That's why you use the present simple. Number nine, we currently research ways of conserving water. We currently research ways of conserving water. I think this is an easy one because of the word currently, so we're talking about now. So the answer is very good. We are currently researching, we use the progressive because of the word currently, ways of conserving water. Number 10, you believe that the oceans will cover Earth one day? Question mark. So this is a question. You believe that the oceans will cover Earth one day. So how do we form a question here? Very good. We say, do you believe that the oceans will cover Earth one day? For me, of course, I don't believe that this will happen. Exercise O here. Complete the sentences. Use the simple present and the present progressive of the verb in parenthesis for the permanent or temporary situation. So whether if it's permanent or temporary, use the simple or the present progressive. Number 1, water at 100 degrees Celsius, but don't touch it when boil. Again, water at 100 degrees Celsius, but don't touch it when it boils. So either use the present simple or the present progressive, either if it's permanent or temporary. So how do we answer the first one? Water, yes, boils at 100 degrees Celsius. This is a fact. That's why I use the present simple. But don't touch it when it is boiling. Very good. So here we use the present progressive. Number 2, Nora, English at school, and now she for exams. And the verb is study. Nora, English at school, and now she for exams. So Nora studies English at school. Nora studies, this is a present simple. And now she, I think is an easy one, now she is studying for exams. So we use the present progressive here because we're talking about now. And now she is studying for exams. Number 3, at present, the boys with their uncle in Jeddah, but they usually with their parents in Mecca. And the verb live. So whether it's permanent or temporary situation, use the simple or the progressive. So at present, the boys, yes, are living with their uncle in Jeddah, but they usually live with their parents in Mecca. So the boys are living, this is temporary, with their uncle, but the permanent one is that they live with their parents in Mecca. Number 4, air pollution, the oxygen levels these days, and this generally our quality of life, and the verb is deplete. Air pollution, the oxygen levels these days, and this generally our quality of life, and the verb is deplete. So air pollution, that's correct, is depleting the oxygen levels these days, and this generally, yes, depletes our quality of life. Number 5, the weather outlook, very favorable now, but we at the long range forecast, not look. So the weather outlook, very favorable now. So yes, doesn't look very favorable now, but we at the long range of forecast, we aren't looking at the long range forecast. Very good. Exercise P, complete the sentences about facts. Use the simple present or will in the second clause. So complete the sentences about facts. So in the second clause, use the simple present or will, if you're talking about the future, of course. So the first one, if you heat ice, it melt. So if, this is the if clause, if you heat ice, so the if clause always comes with the present simple, of course, it melt. So yes, it will melt. If you heat ice, it will melt. So this is a fact that we all know. Number 2, if they replant the forest, it takes several years to grow again. If they and the verb is, yes, replant the forest. It take several years to grow again. Yes, it will take several years to grow again. Number 3, the city's atmosphere not improve if we not stop burning fossil fuels. So the city's atmosphere won't improve or will not improve if we burning fossil fuels, if we don't stop burning fossil fuels. Very good. Number 5, if we, and the verb install, photovoltaic panels, we cut our fuel costs. If we install photovoltaic panels, we cut our fuel costs. So yes, if we install, the same one, because we're using present simple in the if clause, photovoltaic panels. Very good. Will we cut our fuel cost? And the question mark here. If we install photovoltaic panels, will we cut our fuel cost? So this is a question. That's why we begin the other clause with will. Number 5, if you not water plants, they not grow. This is an easy one. We're talking about a fact here. If you don't water plants, they will not grow. They will not grow. Number 6, the ranger ask you to leave if you not obey the park rules. The ranger ask you to leave if you not obey the park rules. So the ranger, yes, will ask you to leave if, this is the if clause, if you, that's correct, don't obey the park rules. Number 7, if we teach children in school about green issues, they, and the verb is treat here, the environment with more respect. So the if clause always comes with the present simple. If we teach children in school about green issues, they, yes, will treat the environment with more respect. Number 8, the consequences, and the verb be here, yes, will be disastrous if we not reduce carbon emissions. So if we, that's correct, don't reduce carbon emissions. Jumping on to exercise Q here, complete the sentences to say what will or might happen in the following situations. Use your own ideas. So for this exercise, you can continue each one using your own ideas. For example, the first one, if we don't find alternative source of energy, if we don't find alternative sources of energy, so what will happen? Continue using your own ideas. For example, I wrote, if you don't find alternative sources of energy, we will have energy problems in the future. We will be having energy problems in the future. This is what will happen, or might happen, you can say. Number 2, if we develop more efficient farming methods, if we develop more efficient farming methods, ways to farm, if we develop them, what will or might happen? You can continue this by yourself, giving your own opinion, of course. For example, I wrote, we might increase farming crops. We might increase the farming crops. So this is what might happen. Number 3, if we keep our town streets clean, if we keep our town streets clean, what will or might happen? You can continue this by yourself. For example, more tourists will come. More tourists will come. Number 4, if we limit the fish industry, what might or will happen? We can say also more tourists will come, the same thing. And you can continue with 5, if we stop using plastic bags, what might or will happen? If you stop using plastic bags, what will or might? When you say will, you are sure that this will happen. And when you say might, this might happen. You're not sure, but there's a large percentage that this will happen. For example, here, if you stop using plastic bags, the environment will be safe. For example, also, if we all work together, we might finish the project faster, for example. And you can use your ideas in number 7 and number 8. So jumping to self-reflection here, this is the objective, to write your feedback and self-reflection, of course. You have these tables here. Things that you liked about Unit 2 and things that you didn't like very much. You can write them here. Things that you liked about the unit. Maybe you learned some new words that you liked, or the grammar, or the conversation. And things that I found easy in Unit 2. Which lessons did you find easy in Unit 2? Things that I found difficult in Unit 2. So this is extremely important to write the things that you found easy and difficult so you can revise them again. Also, the chart here, this is a checklist for Unit 2. You can see here the column. I can do this very well. This is a checklist. I can do this very well. I can do this quite well. So and so. I need to study or practice more. So whether you are perfect in this lesson, that you can do very well, or you can do this quite well, not that much, or you don't understand this lesson. So beginning with evaluate how green I am, if you understand it. So this is your own opinion about yourself. That's why we call it self-reflection, to evaluate yourself. So if you're good at this lesson, check the first column, or the second if you find yourself maybe half and half, or if you find it difficult, check the last column. Discuss ways to be environmentally responsible. Make suggestions. So how do you make suggestions? If you remember the making suggestions here in the conversation lessons, you might want to consider plus the gerund. How about, and the gerund, if you remember the gerund is the ing. Don't you think it would be a good idea plus the infinitive? The infinitive is to plus the base form, and so on. So if you find making suggestions easy, check the first column, or hard, check the last column. Then going to using gerunds after verbs and using infinitives after verbs. If you remember, this is the gerunds. The gerunds are using the ing form of a verb. They act as nouns and answer the question what. I recommend turning off the lights when you leave the room. Also here the infinitives. The infinitive is to plus the base form of the verb. Like gerunds, also the infinitives act like nouns and answer the question what. For example, don't forget to reuse that plastic container. So if you find these lessons easy, if they were easy for you, check the first column. If they were hard, check the last column. If you find yourself so and so in this lesson, check the middle column. I can do this quite well. Then expressing preferences with I'd rather. If you remember it, I'd rather, we use it as I would rather, of course, to talk about preferences. Would you rather go to the mall now or later? You say, I'd rather go now. Also using simple present tenses and the simple progressive. Also using conditional sentences with present and future forms. If you remember the conditional sentences with the future forms, you can use conditional sentences with if. Of course, you begin the if clause to talk about causes and results. Of course, there are present facts, future facts, may and might. If you remember this lesson, check if you can do this very well, check the first column. If you can do this quite well, not very well, quite well, check the second column. And if you find this lesson hard for you, check the last column. And this is the simple present and the present progressive. We use the present, simple present to talk about habits and routines, as we took in the exercises previously. And we use the present progressive for actions occurring now or temporary situations. The last one here, my 5 favorite new words from Unit 2. Try to list 5 or even more, if you want to learn more, favorite words that you have learned in this unit. And if you're still not sure about something from Unit 2, read through the unit again. Listen to the audio material, study the grammar and functions from the unit again, and also don't forget, always remember to ask your teacher for help. This is the most important point here. Whenever you find a problem in trying to revise some specific lessons, always go to your teacher for help. And with that, we reach the end of this lesson and this unit. See you next lesson, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.